For the hydrant. Yes, so we're going to talk about this little child of mine. And my friends are here. They're here. Hello. Oh, this is exciting. And my mommy's here to play with me.
Only for a short
Peace,
time.
Hi.
peace and blessings.
Hi, Abibola.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
I see.
It's
I see Ariane. I know, Mom, you said something. I didn't hear you.
I said only for a short time.
Oh, no.
I've got to go out to Major World with the car.
Okay, well, that means I can turn up when you leave.
You can try.
Oh, you got eyes?
I can always look at the replay.
So it's not to the other right time, and that's separation is actually
Hi, Terry.
Good morning.
And who else is here? I see people, but their audios are still settling in. So yeah, so today is this little child of mine. This is my presentation today. And what do you need? You're gonna definitely need pen and paper. So get a pen and paper so that you can do some journaling because we're going to be doing that. And just be prepared, not just, but be prepared to answer some questions that I have for you when the time comes. And yeah, we're going to do some work. But we're going to have fun doing it because we're going to be revealing some things that we might not have thought about before, or if we did, we're going to get to work on it. So it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you all for joining. And I know others are coming soon. Um, so welcome. Again, you need a pen and paper to journal. Oh, water is a great thing. I have my water here. Yes, drinking my water. And I am excited for the day.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
All right. Yes, so here we are. So all week we've been talking about intimacy. You've heard varying definitions. You experimented with the concept of intimacy. And today's topic, I'm going to be using a form of the word or the form of the definition of intimacy as familiarity. Okay, familiarity. When you think, and I always had, forgive me if I say that word, if it sounds funny, I've always had a problem saying that word. I don't know how it sounded to you. It sounds really funny to me. So, what is, if you can think about what that means to you, write that in the chat. That word, familiarity. That's the word we're going to use to unpack intimacy. It's this special iteration. So yeah, this topic is this child of mine. And that might, if you can use that topic as a clue, that will be helpful. And I see that I must, okay, great. So Chantel says comfort zone. Hi, Chantel. Familiarity, comfort zone. Louise says being comfortable, being able to let your guard down. Okay, great. Familiarity, to know. Absolutely. Okay, thank you for that. And you can keep dropping in the definitions. Knowing another person, says Ariane. And all that falls into the closeness, get to be acquainted with something or someone. Yes, thank you, Shawnee. And and so I'm pulling out that aspect of it, the closeness, the close acquaintance, the knowing something or someone. And that person, so who are you most familiar with is what I'm going to ask you next. In the concept of into me I see, right? Using that as a clue. Who are you most familiar with? Who are you most closely acquainted with? Louise says myself. All right. Thank you. You are right. So this little child of mine. Who is this little child of mine? I want to know. Put the name of this little child of mine in the chat, so I know we're talking about the same people. So I'm going to put my little child's name. My little child's name is Karen. I wasn't born as Kinyofu. I changed my name as a young adult. I was born as Karen. So that's my little child's name. So put your little child's name. I see Cynthia, and I see me Sissy. Is it me Sissy or Sissy? Me Sissy, Theodora says. Candace and Louise, Ari. All right. Oh, good. So the little children are with us today. Carl Cumberbatch. Okay, great. Now, another phrase for little child is inner child. So I want you to raise your hand somehow. Raise your hand, like, I guess, how do I want to see that? Well, yeah, do an electronic raise of the hand. If you feel like you have intimacy with your inner child. I see that Chantel puts in Miss Lockley. I got lost in the store as a child once, and told them that was my name because my mom listened to me growing up. She knew it was me they were talking about over the loudspeaker. Little Miss Lockley, all right. Theodora, Sissy, okay. So am I seeing hands raised? I might have missed my window of opportunity. The hands might have been up and they might have gone down already. All right, so if you have intimacy with your little child, I see Ariane, I see Shawnee, and the hands might not have gone up because you might not have intimacy with your little child because you might not have realized that that was such a thing, right? Is that possible? So creating intimacy is a two-way street, right? So if you're being intimate with a friend or with a partner, there's two people that you're being intimate with. You can't be intimate by yourself. You can't be, like, you have to be in relationship with something or someone. And if you are in relationship, one person can't be intimate with the other. So how would that look? Like, can you reveal your all and everything to someone who's not revealing their all and everything? And if they're not revealing their all and everything, they're probably not receiving you. So it's not an intimate relationship. It's not an intimate partnership. So it's like you don't even exist, right? So that doesn't work. We know that as adults, being in a relationship, we know we want more than that. So there is that creates an unequal experience, an unequal measurement. So I say that there's no equality in that relationship. Okay. Equality meaning not the same. Equality meaning one having less power or existence, and one having more power or existence. There's no balance. And what comes to mind is, I'm speaking about relationship with somebody. What's forming in my mind is the relationship that we have reflected on in the past in different conversations, not necessarily here, but I think we did. Shawnee might have mentioned it once, but when you think about Thomas Jefferson and Sally, so people say they were related. They say that, they were in love and this was something. They were, a couple off the side, but he had the power. She didn't have the power. So what kind of intimacy could they have had? He had power over her. So that's not a kind of relationship that any of us should want, because there's no balance. So that in that relationship, there's an experience of oppression. There's an experience of repression. There's an experience of suppression. There's an experience of injustice. And there's an experience of anguish, among other things. So when I share that, because where we are looking at this experience of us looking at the intimacy we have with our little child, we want to make sure that there's balance, but there can't be balance if we feel like our little child, our inner child, is behind us. Like, I'm an adult now. I'm not a kid. What I used to do, what I used to think, that's old and behind me. If you're thinking that way, then your little child, your inner child, is actually feeling ignored, is being ignored. And you can't be in a relationship with someone if somebody is being ignored. So I'm going to pause there and ask for thoughts. Anyone would like to share what I just expressed?
Yes, Kinyofu, I'd like to support you. When you asked that, the first question, when you were talking about the hand raised, we did have a hand come up and go down. And that came from, I believe it was, we have a few more people jumped in right now, but I think it was Adrian Watson. Adrian, Ariane, sorry, it's not a D there. Ariane, are you still willing to share in regards to the questions Kinyofu have asked?
Yeah. In terms of intimacy, in terms of like my inner child, right?
Yes.
I haven't had all my coffee and water this morning. I would say that my inner child, sorry, I just blanked. Can you just come back to me? Just give me a moment.
Okay. Now I'm going to say this to everybody. I just lost Shawnee's visual, but I'm going to request that everybody come onto video. This is a conversational intimacy, and the little child, your inner child, and I don't see anybody. I see John Carl. I see me. I now see Ariane. Thank you for showing yourself. I see Theodora. Yes, this is fun. Y'all are coming out to play with me. Yes, thank you. Oh, this is so exciting. Hi, Mom. Hey, Jennifer. Hi, Louise. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Now we are Mom disappeared. We are creating an experience on Zoom of intimacy, because I can see you and you can see me, and that's creating the balance. So what I'm and that's really great. That's really great. So if I were talking with my screen off, y'all will be like, what in the world is going on here? So I really appreciate you coming onto video so I can see you and we can like really take this conversation on intimacy to the next level. Thank you, Althea. And all right, so others will be coming on to video, I know, shortly. And I appreciate that. So Ariane, are you ready, or should I can move on? It's not a problem.
Yeah, my brain still can't remember the question.
All right, not a problem. So your inner child is your childlike self, your childlike aspect. And it includes what you learned about life as a child before puberty. Okay, so a lot of us will say, oh, you know, or would think, oh no, the child, my inner child, that's old and back and done, because we went through that already. Now, like, we're adults. So what do we need to do with children? We might, you know, we'll have adult play, but what do we like? That's the child is there. Let me tell you. So the child is that she's the one that's going to have tantrums. Hi, Teresa. The tantrum comes up in us as adults when we don't want to do a thing, or when we're afraid to do something, or when we're triggered in some way. That's that inner child. So in order to get past the trigger, the present day trigger, it's really helpful to go back and meet the inner child and to help her through why she's triggered. She's triggered for a reason. Okay, so now is the time to get out your pen and your paper, because I'm gonna take you through this exercise with some questions. And so you're gonna finish the sentence. I'm gonna start out the sentence there's 3 sentences, I think. You're gonna finish them talking about yourself. And you can write as many sentences as you can complete in the time that I'm allotting. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes. So I could put 5 minutes on the timer. And the first question is, and you're thinking about yourself as a child. All right. So not now, not yesterday, but like before the age of 10. Go way back, go way back, go way back. And the first question is, I learned. And so you will fill in the rest of that sentence. And not learn like I learned how to tie my shoes, I learned how to walk, I learned how to write. Not that. Learn like life lessons. What did you get? Whether you were taught like little girls should be seen and not heard. That was something that was verbally said to me, actually. That's something, but also something that wasn't verbal. Something like maybe a look that you got from an adult in your life, and you took that to mean, oh, I should not approach them right now. I can't approach adults when they are cooking or whatever it is, because that adult gave you that mean look when they were cooking. So putting the time on now, and anything that you learned. So I learned, fill it out. And the next, if you can go ahead and I'll repeat it, but you can jot it down for later. The next question would be, I mattered in my family when. And as I could say, for me, I mattered in my family when I got good grades. And I'll just, I think I'm gonna leave those 2 questions now, and I will drop in the other question later. So the first question is, I learned, and you will write down all the things you learned. I learned that adults make rules, and rules don't apply to them. That's what I learned. I learned that if I don't make waves, I won't get in trouble. If you're having trouble thinking of what you learned, think about how you're living right now. Think about the things that you were scared of when you were little. The next set of questions is, I mattered in my family when. So I mentioned when I get good grades, and I know that because when I got good grades, everybody was excited. When I didn't get good grades, I got lectures. I also see that I mattered in my family when I followed adult directions well. So if I listened, then that made the adults happy. I learned how to make adults happy. Shawnee says, I learned that adults were not always going to believe or protect me. And I learned that teachers could have favorites. The last question I want you to look at is to identify key life points. So the question is, when I was blank age, this happened. And you will look at the age ranges 0 to 3, if you can remember that, 4 to 6, and 7 to 10. You might not be able to break it up into age categories, but if you can, it will make a difference. You're thinking about what, where, who, when, how, and how many. Shawnee says, I learned that being pretty could trump being smart. Ariane says, I learned that you don't tell everyone everything. And Sherry T from Facebook says, I learned that travel is fun. I learned that my imagination was the safest place to be. So you're journaling what happened, what, where, who, when, how many. And you have 10 seconds to go.
Kinyofu, while we're waiting for the responses, I can read some of the other comments in the chat too, if you like.
Oh, well, the time just ended. You can. I wasn't intending on reading all of them. I just was filling in the space and giving some examples to trigger other people's memories. So right now, since the time is up, I'm going to ask everybody else to share. You can read some of the comments, and then would like to have somebody verbally share.
Okay. You stopped at Shawnee up there.
Yeah, I read Sherry. I read her
Oh,
Facebook.
I'm sorry, you stopped at?
I read her Sherry T from Facebook.
Got it. Where she said, I learned that travel is fun.
Yeah.
And she learned that I learned that my imagination was the safest place to be. Okay, that came from Shawnee personally, I guess.
No, I don't think so. I think that's still from Sherry.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh.
Gotcha. All right, Chantel shared that I learned that I marched to the beat of my own drum, and not everyone understood that. I shared, I learned that my parents decided when I was right or wrong. Again, from Facebook, Cherie T said, I learned that school was at home. And then from Facebook, Teresa P, she shared, I learned that I need to make and have my own money and be able to take care of and provide for myself. Um, would you like to go now or read a few more?
Um,
I, I, I'll read this one from Chantel. While I see you looking in the looking. This one from Chantel, who's in the Zoom, said, "I matter in my family when I." Oh, that goes on to the second question. I matter.
that's
So
fine. You can read,
I'll stop there
you
with
can
I
read that.
learn.
You
I
can
can
read
read
that.
that one. Okay, great. I matter in my family when I made people laugh. I learned that if everyone was happy, things would be okay. Everything was clean. Oh,
Great.
I'm sorry, that was Ariane who said that. And then Chantel said, I mattered in my family when I did as I was told and could be used as an example for other family members to compare their children to. In brackets, she says, which caused rifts between me and my cousins and her peers, cousins and peers.
Great. Thank you, John Carl.
You're welcome.
So thank you. And Ariane, can I come back to you now? I see that you wrote something in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what I see you said making people happy, and I just lost the chat. You said something else about what you learn. You can't, was it that you can't trust, you can't listen? Okay, what did you say, and what was your experience writing this exercise?
I said that I learned that you don't tell everyone everything. Pretty much saying I learned to lie. um, and I mattered in my family when I got good grades, when I made people laugh, and everyone was happy. And then I also said, like, when everything was clean.
Okay. And how does that show up in your life today?
I probably only realized it through this, but if I have anxiety or anything, I'm just like, okay, I got to clean everything. And that makes me feel calmer. And that probably comes from the fact that, like, if my mom was coming home and the house was messy, I knew she was going to be even more upset. So it was like, better clean it. And it also shows up. I also realized this when I didn't have an answer or I couldn't think of an answer. I laughed, and I'm like, when everybody's laughing, everything's gonna be okay. And I think I'm always laughing. So I believe that everything is gonna be okay. Um, yeah. Do you want me to continue? I think I took enough time.
No, it's not about time. You did say some key things, and you recognize some things, so this is great. When you're triggered, you went into your little girl. You see how she's there?
Mm-hmm.
Had you thought about her before today?
Yeah, yes. I feel like she's always with me. I'm now learning to take care of her more and to see what be in tune with what she remembers and not what my jaded memory has kind of added.
Mhm. And were you noticing that your inner girl was with you when you get anxiety? Did you
Yeah,
acknowledge that before? Okay.
my inner child is probably, Ari is probably triggered way quicker than anybody else. And when I am triggered, I know that it's usually like a lack of being able to communicate and figure everything out. And then I just get angry.
Mhm. Yes, good. I'm glad that you know that. And keep her close, because she's going to give you clues to your entire life. Yeah. So
Thank you.
thank you. Abimbola?
Peace. I'm here in South Carolina with my two sisters, and I'm sharing wool.
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Good
Yeah.
morning.
So what did you learn, Clarissa?
I learned that when although is speaking, that you just don't open up your mouth and butt in. You speak when you're spoken to, and learn a lot of manners. And I try, as I got older, to instill that in my children.
How about you, Lorraine?
I learned at a very young age how to be still and quiet and be in my own space. And I'm able to do that right now, as of today, to enjoy myself, my own self.
I learned how to be still when it was thundering and lightning outside. We learned that as a child, and I still, as an adult, I'm quiet and still when it's thundering and lightning. I also learned how to speak when you enter a room and you speak to people. So that's what I learned.
Thank you.
They're
And-
complete.
Okay. Well, I'm not.
Okay.
So the speak when you're spoken to, I learned that as well. I was actually told that, and there was an effect on me. So my question to you is, what's the effect on you when, in reference to the things that you shared with me that you learned? So for me, speaking when I was spoken to, the effect was that I didn't speak. That was how I learned to be quiet. So what being quiet meant that I did not get my needs met because I didn't speak up. And even as an adult, I'm thinking, oh, they didn't speak to me. I'm not going to say anything because they didn't speak to me.
Well, as an adult, I learned that after you don't say anything, you speak when you're spoken to later on, you know that you'll get a chance to express what you was trying to say. That's what I learned. Because, sometimes they say, speak when you're spoken to and you be quiet. And then later on, when things ease off, then you say, may I say something, please? I wanted to say this here at that time, but I know, you always said this to my mother. And then I said, but now can I talk to you? And I know how to put it in later on at a later time because of the rules and regulations.
Okay. So when you are in a conversation as an adult with an adult on an equal basis, there was equality there. When the conversation was heated, right? You were sweating because you were like, oh no, that's not in my mind, in your mind. You're like, oh no, that's not what I meant. This is what I want. I gotta defend myself, right? Were you in your mind, were you hearing speak when you were spoken to?
Well, when in a conversation like that, and something is heated and you want to get something out, that's the time when I let everybody calm down. I don't just start talking, because that's when you don't hear one another. When everybody start talking and things get heated and everybody start talking, is a waste then. So I outgrew to speak when I spoken to for adult, and learn how to let everything get unheated and then voice my opinion. That's when you can hear the next person, but you can't hear the next person when everything is heated.
Right.
Is a way. I learned.
Yes, true that. And in that time, in that moment when everybody's talking over each other and that nobody's listening, and especially you, what was that feeling like for you?
Horrifying. I just be still and just observe.
You observe, and what else was going on?
Just listening to the different voices, just listen to the different opinions everyone have. This way, after everything is calmed down, then you know how to voice your own opinion.
Right.
And that's just part of getting knowledge of things like that.
Right.
As the years go by, as you grow.
I hear that. And it's in that moment when the stuff is hitting the fan that your inner child was up. And she was like, "Why?" I know what, like, so I'm putting words in her mouth. I'm not going to do that. What were some of those words that she was thinking then, when when you couldn't, you got quiet because nobody else was quiet? What was your little girl saying?
Well, I really can't express that right now, because the inner child, the child be saying, wow, I hope nothing, no fighting or nothing come out of this argument, or no cursing come out of this argument, because I have to get out of here. Child, but see, when I grew up, we didn't have like arguments and cursing, and no bad language was in my home.
Yes.
Both of my parents was Christians, and we didn't have the bad tongue like you hear today. Some people, every time they say something, a bad word come out of their mouth, they can't help it because that's the way they speak.
Okay.
But if I see that, if I just observe, like I said, and you could always see if something gonna go further the wrong way, you know what I'm trying to say. If it look like it's gonna be a fight, or it look like it's gonna get really bad, and I know if I have to dismiss myself, I will.
Okay. So thank you for that. I want to share that when we're under stress or duress, that we are experiencing stress response. So our brain can handle but so much, in the way, and the way that it handles stress and duress is to either fight. So in that conversation, did you say Odu? Oda? What
Say
is
that
the little girl?
When I got older.
No, her. Oh, what is your little girl's name?
Oh, my little girl name is Latae.
Oh, I heard something else. Okay, Latae. So when she was in experience with people were fighting or fearing that they were going to fight, she wanted to flee, which is another way of expressing the fight or flight, the stress response. So fighting is one of them, fleeing is another, and freezing is another. So freezing is when you don't do anything, you just get quiet. You also mentioned that. So the fleeing, leaving the space, the fighting with words or with hands, and the freezing, not doing anything.
Right.
So thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
That's correct. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kinyofu, I'm not sure what time will allow, but I wanted to share something, and also to tell you three beautiful ladies, thank you for being here. Abimbola, thank you for sharing your sisters with us. Like, I'm so moved by seeing you. One of y'all are out of the frame, that has on the plaid shirt, so pull her in here so I can see your face. Hey, so beautiful. Yeah, so Kinyofu, I wanted to add something to this conversation. I wanted to share, especially since the sisters are seasoned sisters, one of the things that happens with this speak when spoken to, or what is deemed respect, or even the the spiritual or religious aspects of the conversation is that when we're Black and brown people, especially those who have been born and raised in the United States, that there is this mixture or collapsing of respect with control and oppressive ways of thinking and being. And it comes from post-traumatic slavery disorder, us being enslaved. We were taught things to diminish our voices. And then also, if you have the intersection of being a woman in Black, it has another level of oppressive, suppressive, repressive energies, like you mentioned earlier. So that came up for me as the sisters were speaking. It's hard to determine where there are points of trauma, because some of this stuff we've been conditioned to believe is normal, and it's not necessarily normal. So I just wanted to put that into the conversation, and thinking about intimacy, how we're robbed of intimacy when traumatic experiences are part of the overlay of our growing up in our existence. And then there's a new F to the trauma response, and it's fawn. Fawn is when you people please for survival in the situation. Like you're having a trauma response and you're like, the only way for me to get out of this is to go along to get along. So I just wanted to add those two pieces before we pressed forward, especially since Abimbola and her sisters are in the space, and they probably, y'all sound Southern, but I might be wrong.
Thank you, Shawnee. The people pleasing, I'll add that into my trauma response conversation. And I want to go back to the three sisters, because you all, let me ask you this. Did you grow up in the same household?
Yes, we did.
Yes. We were born
Okay.
in Brooklyn, New York, Gates Avenue, between Clarkson and Irving. Bed-Stuy, do or die.
Woohoo!
But our mother was born in Georgia.
Okay.
And our father born in Brooklyn.
Got it. So in the hearing the stress responses, flight, freeze, flee, and fawn, how do you all experience distress today?
Well, I myself, I handle the stress in different ways, different situations. I try to remember what I was taught, because my mother always said, you cannot take over everybody's problems. If you do, you're not going to last. So when you see people with problems, you have to take that to that man up above, and you have to give those people problems to him. And then you have to be still and let him work it out.
Yes. Now, when you think about any trauma that or experiences that you had for yourself, when you're thinking about some obstacle, some way that you were blocked or stopped, which of the four trauma responses what was your main go-to?
Well, I had many of those times in my lifestyle. I had times when, I had a mate and wanted to block me from working, from, making money, to go and help myself. And that, I had to deal with that.
So what she's saying is, do you flee? What is it?
I had to flee.
What approach? Yeah. How about you?
And really get away from it. Flee. I had to do that.
Fleeing was the big plan. And in the moment where there were those stressors, before you actually created the big plan to flee, what was there a moment of freeze or fight in your spirit, in your little child?
Well,
or fawn?
What's fawn
Yeah.
again?
Fawn is people please.
No,
No,
we weren't taught that. No.
no.
Fight. Mine was fight.
Yeah, and even though you weren't, so you might not have literally been taught the people please, but in the moment of survival, in the present day experience of survival, that might have come up. It's like, well, I'm not going to speak up because if I speak up, I'm going to get hit, or the chair's going to get thrown across the floor and scare me, or something like that. So that's not the direct taught, but it's your takeaway. So that could be a part of it.
That might have been part of when the word is freeze, maybe.
Yeah,
that's why I
what
put that into me. I put freeze in there, but then I'll say flee at the same time too.
Okay, awesome. So, and then I want you to think about, so I'm going to move on, but I want you to think about other times where you had those same experiences, where there was an experience of, I need to get out of here, but I don't know how, or let me just sit still.
Yeah, I had to get out of here.
In other scenarios, that's what I'm saying, where there's a repeat. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right, so I can come back to you later. I do want to see who else is, if someone else has something else to share. I don't see any hands raised. And John Carl, are you checking the chat? What do you see there?
As far as the chat, Kinyofu, that was a very powerful question, what I learned. And we have several responses in the chat. Some of them, one of them actually stick out to me. It just popped out. And this came from Teresa. I'm not reading it. I remembered it because it stuck out. And Teresa said she learned that to eat for pleasure. And I know you were asking how these things came up in the life now. And I don't know if you would like to hear from Teresa about, what that experience was like.
Most definitely.
Yes. Teresa, would you please share with us?
Yes, I was dealing with a lot of trauma as a child, so I would use food as a way to comfort. And so I did. I still do it sometimes, but I don't enjoy eating food to the degree that I did during that time because I got tools to help me deal with, like whatever stresses that I was dealing with. But I did do it for years. And that's how I gained so much weight and got sick and stuff because I just ate. I didn't deal with pain. I didn't I didn't really start dealing with pain until after I came on Wake Up and going to Be the Tree. I never noticed that I didn't really deal with pain. I'm not pain, just any emotions. I didn't know how to deal with emotions, so I would eat. So when I got to the place where I didn't want to eat anymore, I felt kind of, I felt like I was crazy a little bit because I was like, what the hell am I going to do with all these emotions? And yet, I don't know how to handle the emotions because all I did was eat. So now that I'm no longer eating, like, how do I deal with it? So it is much better now, but it was really challenging last year during COVID when I realized that this is the way I dealt with emotions.
Got it. What did you answer for the question, I mattered in my family when?
I didn't feel that I mattered because that's during the time when I was dealing with the sexual trauma. So I didn't have that because that was like a hard question for me to answer. I was like, I don't know why the hell she asked that question. But then I had to like regroup myself and answer. But I didn't feel, I was going through a lot of trauma during that time. So I didn't feel like I mattered during that time.
Sorry to hear that, Teresa. You do matter.
I do.
You mattered then. I'm sorry that they didn't tell you that you mattered.
I'm just glad where I'm at now that I know that I mattered and that I'm loved so much. And that's so important right now to know that.
Yes. The emotions that you don't know how to deal with, that's what your little girl is living in, those emotions. And every moment that you can, tell your little girl that she matters. Show your little girl that she matters.
Yeah,
How
that's what I'm doing now, but taking better care of myself and loving on myself and saying no to stuff that I would normally say yes to. So that's what I'm doing now. And I
tell me,
feel real good.
tell me 2 ways that your little girl matters to you right now.
That she laughs a lot. That's one of the things because I laugh so much and I enjoy life a lot more than what I did before. And that she's beautiful. You know, I really feel that I'm beautiful. You know, I tell her that she's beautiful. I tell her, you know, Trish, you know, you really are beautiful. And not just beautiful, you know, not just beautiful from the outside, but on the inside, your inside is beautiful because I didn't feel, you know, beautiful. So like when I put my bikini on that day, I felt so free. I never thought having a bikini would make me get free, feel a freedom about my body and about myself. It was so liberating. It was I didn't know when I was declaring it that I was declaring freedom for myself that day. So when I did it, it was amazing. Really amazing.
That was wonderful. That was a big step. And I so applaud you for that. I'm gonna ask you one more question, or take that same question deeper. I don't want you to share in what ways. So I asked it before, but like, how does little Teresa matter to big Teresa?
Well, she's important because she needs to continue on laughing and enjoying. She needs to continue on laughing and getting her laughter back. And you know, just sometimes playing and having fun and being silly. You know, like sometimes you know, like you know, they said you're too grown for your own shoes, but I don't want to lose that part of me because that part, that laughter and just being silly and just doing silly stuff and just, you know, just being who you want to be is so important. And so it just helps me, you know, find a peace that I hadn't had in a long time.
Okay, so she matters to you because she helps you find peace when she laughs.
Yes, very much so.
Beautiful. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am I'm cognizant of the time. It is 5 minutes to 8, almost 5 minutes to 8, and I want to share before I get into the next question or conversation that we are continuing on. And if you're unable to continue on with us, I do appreciate you being here and sharing what you've shared and journaling what you've journaled. You can catch us on the replay on Facebook, and there will be more conversation. Yeah, so check in for my special offer as well, which is basically coaching. And what else there's there to say? Join us again on Sunday. Okay, so is there anyone else that wants to share? I could do another quick before I move on to the next question.
Kinyofu, I saw another comment. I'm trying to run back to it, but let's see, go back to it really quick. And it if you place this comment in the chat, okay, I got it. Theodora Cross said, I learned that dark skin was not desired. That was not from my mother or father. And, you know, I know many of us can relate to that. So if Theodora, would like to share and expand on that, I would love to hear. Theodora? Are
Yes,
you here
hi.
with us?
I'm here.
Thank you.
Good morning. Grand Rising.
Good morning.
I learned that as a child. I grew up in Harlem on 114th Street between Lenox and St. Nicholas. until I was 8 years old. And it stuck with me for a long time until I got into the Wu Nation, and you don't realize it until things come up. But I was called Ink Spot because as a child I was darker, much darker. My brother and I were darker, and my younger brother was lighter. As my father was darker, my mom was a little lighter. And there was many derogative terms. There was a man who lived next door. My nickname was Sissy, and he used to call me Sissy Pissy, which was not really very nice. So as a child, I didn't think I was pretty, even though my mom always told me I was her princess. So it did stick for a long time, and you don't realize that things that you say to children can affect them into their adulthood, many years into their adulthood.
Yes. And your mother said that you were a princess, and you would think that that would be enough. Like, that's great, but then there's the world out there, and what I have found is that from my reading is that for every positive word that we hear, there's like 8 negative words.
Yes.
So we have to reverse that. So you want to just flood your children, flood the people in your life with the positive words so that can reduce and erase and wash away the negativity. And we get to do that for ourselves. We get to do that for our little girl, because the little girl is still carrying that. The princess is there somewhere, but it's flooded by these other stories that we have picked up in our lifetime. So we have to be the one to reverse that, because the people in our lives didn't understand that.
That's true. Very true.
So,
and since I've been on Wu, I've learned to love me as I am, and that I am beautiful.
good. That's good. So, how did you matter in your family?
How do I matter in my family?
Yes. How did you in the past when you were a child?
I don't know. My mom and my dad, we had a wonderful childhood. I can say that. We went everywhere with them. When they went to dances, we went. We went to family events. We went on boat rides. My dad died when I was 10, but and my mom had us late in life, so we were very precious to her. And things that happened to her when she was a child, she tried to make sure that it didn't happen to us. So we weren't rich at all by a long shot, but there was always something extra in the pot. So we learned respect, of course. And I learned not to laugh. There used to be a gentleman that came down the block. So I don't know, maybe I was 5, 6, 7. And I would point and I'd laugh at him, because when he walked, his legs would collapse. And my mother told me several times not to laugh at him, because, he couldn't help it. And of course, one day he came by and I pointed out and I got whopped. And it was a very good lesson, because I do not laugh at people with afflictions anymore.
I got that.
I was a child, and children don't understand, but I learned to understand.
Yes. So I want to go back to that mattering. What I was getting was that you mattered to your family. Well, you showed me how you showed me what they did. You said they took you, they gave you experiences, and they went a little extra, even though they didn't have money, to show you that you mattered. And what was the mattering? What did you do or need to do or be to have them show you that you mattered?
I don't know. I didn't feel like I needed to be, of course I needed to go to school. I needed to try to get good grades. I needed to be good and to listen to what your parents wanted you to do. And whatever food was put, it wasn't no, do you want McDonald's or do you want this? Whatever my mother cooked and put on that table, that's what you ate. Because like she said, she didn't know whether she would have to be there to raise you and didn't know where you would end up. So she'd had some of those experiences. So I guess just listening, because, as a children, you don't listen. So you get spankings or whatever, because they didn't believe in sparing the rod back then. But
You mattered, you know that you mattered when you listen?
I always knew that I mattered, even when we would get a spanking for something. I never, as far as my mother and father were concerned, felt that I didn't matter. It was outside forces that made me feel less than, or that I didn't matter.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Theodora. And so to everyone, I'm hoping that you're taking notes, because the coaching that you're hearing from others might have something to do with you. I actually see Mama Mal's hand up. So Mama Mal.
That, you know what, that is, I have never, ever been asked, did I matter? And I know as a child, whether or not, I don't know. So my mother and father split up, and I was the only girl with two boys, one older and one younger. So I was a middle child. With my mother, I mattered only because I was the one that did the washing and picking up after my brothers. To my dad, I mattered because I was the only girl, and he and I were bonded at the hip. But I did have issues with my inner child because I looked like a little pickaninny, okay? The little braids in your hair and it stuck up. I wasn't bright skinned. I didn't have long, pretty hair and stuff like that. So I thought I had to come to terms with my inner child. And I had a fresh mouth. So I stayed in trouble, especially when I was living with my mother. I would have a word for everything she said, and I would often get put on punishment. It seems like I was on punishment every other week. I was on punishment. I didn't feel as though I was smart enough because I never got on the honor roll. I had pretty good grades, but it was never like strictly A's and B's. It was some C's. What else? Other than getting in touch with my inner child at one workshop, I never even thought about those questions. So it's interesting. I have to really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to really think about it. But I don't know if I answered the question or not.
You did. You absolutely did.
Oh, okay.
So knowing, having a sense of how you mattered, it does create an experience in your adult life that would be, different than if you didn't have an experience of mattering. So if you didn't feel like you matter, then you would be seeking some way of mattering in your life. There'll be some searching, some void that you have, and you're not able to figure out why. And even if you are able to figure out why, there's still some work to be done to complete that. So
there is a distinction between making a difference and mattering, because where my strive is making a difference.
Yes, there is. Making a difference, you have control over that. You can make a difference. And mattering is the same thing, but it goes deeper. So matter means it's like your how you affect another
Uh-huh.
and how they show it or how they say it.
You know, I want to make just one little statement. That's what the world, you know, inside of your family is a dynamic, but what the world shows you is another dynamic in that vein of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I am a proponent, or I say that whatever in your consciousness that you need to heal, you're going to get it from somewhere. If it's not in your family, you will get it from the world. And what we say to children is important, but if we don't say it in the family, then it will be said out there because it's something that needs to be healed inside of ourselves. It's an inside job there. So that I just wanted to point that out. We can't control what a person takes into their mind as something that needs to be healed, because that's an individual journey that one would take. So I have a friend of mine, she was a real dark skin, and she said her mom would always embrace her and love her, and oh, you're just so pretty to me. But in the world and in her mind, she was not, because she was so dark. So that is a journey that even if the whole family embraced you and loved you up, it is a journey that each individual has to take within themselves to get what is it? Don't forgive yourself for having thought that or whatever.
Right.
But that's I just wanted to point that out. So we don't have to beat ourselves up for what our children came up with in their lives that you couldn't spare them from.
Right. Oh no, there's no beating anybody up. No beating up. So we're none of us are perfect. We all use the tools that we have in the moment that we have it in order to do what we know to do. So we can't do what we don't need to do. So this is not about beating anybody. You can't beat. I don't want any parent here to beat up themselves for what they didn't do. I don't want any child here to beat up their parents for what their parent didn't do.
That's right.
And we do get to feed ourselves. So what it is that we feel is missing in our lives, we have to seek it, to see it, and then seek the solution, and then feed ourselves that.
Absolutely.
And there's also so your girlfriend, there was a way she wasn't believing. She didn't fully believe what her mother was telling her. So there was some disconnect, maybe in the family, definitely in the community. But there, you know, a person could say something and then do something that's contradictory, that discounts the any belief that could happen.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting about her is that she did work through it, and how she worked through it was in embracing her Africanness. She started wearing galas and started really become activist in her community, especially when she went to college. And she is really an outstanding sister now, outstanding. So she did go in and find that space and loved herself. And I love my little inner child with her little pickaninny self. When I did that workshop, we were told to hold ourselves and to see ourselves as children. And I just totally fell in love with that little girl. That little girl who no one understood. Why doesn't anybody understand what I'm doing, what I'm saying, who I am? Yes. And I just learned to love that child.
Beautiful. Thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And invite your friend in to wake up everybody.
Yeah, she's been in a couple times. It's in Shombe. She's been in a couple times.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Z?
Greetings, family.
Greetings.
I wanted to take a moment to give thanks to my maternal grandmother. Combining all three of the questions, I kept coming back to, had it not been for my grandmother, y'all might not even know me because I probably would have completely disappeared from life based on the experiences that I had. So I just needed to give my grandma a shout out. The question of what I learned a lot of things, but when I was, before I had a sibling, I was an only child for the first 5 years. Before I had a sibling, I was extremely important. You know, I picked up things quickly. I walked early. I did, you know, I was reading, I was doing math and stuff long before anybody even taught. I taught it to myself, you know. And so I was every mother's dream. I was I have a little OCD, so I was a neat freak. So, you know, I was every mother's dream. Then my brother came along and it was like I disappeared. I didn't matter at all. I felt adults were really confused. Like they would say one thing and do something else all the time. So that was confusing for me. And then the question of when I was such a certain age, something happened. The most significant thing for me was when I was 9. My mom took my brother and I, and we came to New York. And the reason we came to New York was that I had started acting out. And in my mind, for most of my life, I felt it was my fault that my parents just never got back together. Because if my mom hadn't had to bring us here, they would have stayed together. And so that was like integral in how I interacted with her. And then her spoiling of my brother, anything that happened in the house, I automatically was blamed for it. And he learned that really quickly. So he would do whatever, he knew he could do whatever he wanted. He would sit and watch me get beat for stuff he knew he did, you know. But through all of it, my grandmother saw through him. My grandmother was the one who told me my birth story from early on and kept telling it to me to help me understand that I'm here for a reason. Had it not been for my grandmother, I probably, like I said, would have just kind of disappeared from life, because that's the only place I got that I mattered.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thank you. I thank your grandmother. I thank your grandmother for you and for all of us. It's important to have somebody in our lives, and it's important to be that somebody for somebody else in someone else's life that knows, where you could show them that they matter, where you could make that difference in their lives, where you could be the light and love. And when you never know who needs that. So if you can be clear in yourself, if you could be clear and connected to your inner child, that opens up a space for you to be with somebody else, to share something with somebody else, because there'll be no baggage for you to put on them, or no baggage to keep you hidden. So that's your grandmother had that for you. Thank you, Lee. So I have another question for you all. These were some deep shares, and as I shared before, I'm hoping that you got something out of it for yourself. Now we're going to look at the resolution. So having that other person in your life is a form, one way of having the resolution. It's a form of resilience. Resilience is a cover. Resilience is a resource, a way out, or a way in, depending on the scenario. So it's filling a need, right? And so my question to you is, what did your little child need back then? So let's take a moment to think about what she or he needed. And that's in contrast to what you received. Shawnee says lap time. And deep listening. And this is also, I want you also to think about what you wanted, okay? Because sometimes we need something different than what we want, but what we want is no less than what we need. Zakia needed love. I needed to be heard. Like, listen to me. I know I have some things I want to say. I want you to hear me. Jacqueline says, I needed to know that I mattered. And Candace says, love and protection. Laura says, hugs and attention. and love. Althea says safety, love, patience, comfort. Candace says to belong. Afriye says more hugs and to be heard. Okay. So these things that you now are identifying that you needed or wanted. John Carl says, I need it to be understood. Yes. You can create them for yourself now. And how can you even do that? Like, how can you right those wrongs? If you, to say. Ababola says attention because I was the seventh girl. Amal says love and to be understood. Diane Max says acknowledged, overt expressions of affection and love. So our brain is a neuroplastic brain. There's just plasticity about our brain, which means that we can program it. We could create through our mind and through our actions and through our words that the experience that we want to solidify. So our brain has neurons. Our brain is made up of neurons, and our neurons have these endings. So there's dendrites, and then there's axons. And when we do a thing for the first time, first of all, they're all separate. When we're born, they're all separate. Some of them are connected, but most of them are separate. And when we learn to do something, then the neurons find the axons, they get closer. Then so if we don't learn to do something, then they're still out here. But as we practice, they get closer. And then when we practice to the point where we can actually do something, they connect. So this connection of my pinkies, that's to establish that I get that, whatever that is, I get that I can stand on my own. I got that. All right. Oh, now I get that I could walk. All right. Because I practice enough. So if we stop walking for whatever reason, if our parent now all of a sudden, after we learn how to walk, starts picking us up, we could lose that connection and then forget to walk. So this is for children, is also for adults. And we have lots of neurons, and this is a big web. And so when we learn something, our neurons find the axons, and when we forget something, it loses that connection. So these thoughts that you're having, these memories that you're having about what you learned, what that didn't serve you, and how you feel like you weren't given the acknowledgement that you mattered, that's a disconnect, but you could create that connection. Okay, repeated actions and strong feelings got you to the place where you are now. Repeated actions and strong feelings will get you out. So the repeated action is the words you identify what it is that you need. All right, so in that, I'm gonna have you journal. I want you to write it in your journal and feel it, like no, actually I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna have you visualize it in your head. I'm gonna give you a few moments to for you to own those words that you said. And I want you to visualize your childhood where you are receiving that which you said that you needed. So if you today determined that you didn't understand how you mattered in your childhood, I want you to, in the vision that we're going to create now, for you to say to yourself, to see how you mattered. I want you to see your parent hugging you. I want you to see your parent understanding you. I want you to see you being heard. I want you to see yourself being shown that you belong. Okay? So when you do that, and I want you to feel it in your body. So as you are seeing it in your mind, I want you to feel it in your body. Like this is, can someone mute themselves. I hear this beeping sound. Yeah, so feel it and feel the joy. All right, so when you feel the joy, then you know that you are creating this completion and you are assisting the dendrites to finding the axons and creating that synapses. The synapses is that moment when your brain gets an aha, I got this. Okay, so let's take, well, I'm gonna do a guided meditation, a short guided meditation. So I'm gonna ask you all to get yourself comfortable, however you are. You could be seated or laying down, wherever you are is just fine. Just make sure that you're comfortable. So that might mean you get a pillow, might mean that you adjust yourself, might mean you get a scarf to cover your arms, or take it off. And you can close your eyes and begin to get connected to your breath. So you'll breathe in and breathe out. And we'll do another one, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. Taking your breath a little bit slower with each exhale. And you're doing this to settle your mind and settle your body. And you can begin to form the vision of yourself as your little girl or your little boy. Remember yourself. Remember the place you stayed. Remember the people around you. Remember a moment in time. And in that moment, you create your life right now. That moment needs something. You know exactly what was needed. See that which you need appear. Feel what you need. Be present. Experience the love. Experience the joy. Experience the peace. You can have it because you can create it. Keep replaying that vision. Hold yourself. Love yourself. Fill yourself with exactly what you need. Feel the satisfaction. Feel it. Let that feeling flow through all the cells in your body such that you find it hard to contain yourself. You finally got what you wanted. You finally got what you needed. And now I'm going to ask you to bring this moment to a close, but I also want you to know that this moment you can have anytime. Take a minute a day, take 5 minutes a day, take 10 minutes a day, however long you can create for yourself to remember this moment, to recreate this experience in your child's mind. Create new synapses. Change your life. So bring your mind back to the present by moving your body, feeling your breath, being conscious to you in the space that you occupy right now. You can begin to open up your eyes. And see yourself right here, right now. So, anyone care to share this experience? A quick share? I see Mama Mal's hand is up.
I saw that little girl. Lord have mercy. Wait a minute. She is so busy climbing trees and because there was a garage by a big tree, scurry up that tree. And just felt like I knew everything there was to know in the world. And then I tried to grab her. I said, "Come here, baby." I tried to hug her. She hugged me, but she was gone, honey. She didn't have any time for it. So I'm realizing that was a happy-go-lucky girl, even though stuff happened inside of my life during that time that was, that was sorrowful. The overall picture of that, my younger self was that I was just carefree, happy, and just knew I knew everything there was to know in this world. And I'm complete.
Ashe, thank you. Athea? You're muted. Take yourself off of mute.
Good morning. In that moment, I created a memory or a different part of seeing my mom come, holding me and taking me away from a place that was very terrifying and holding me safe. And as I hugged myself in my own space, I felt comfort, I felt protected, and I felt at peace.
Awesome, thank you. Jacqueline, I'm reading your chat. I saw earlier you said that this was a hard conversation, and then just recently you typed that today is my anniversary and I woke up in low vibration. I've been trying to raise that vibration since 5 a.m. I'm not sure what's happening, but this conversation is causing me to go deep within. I need these exercises. Can you come off mute and share some more, please?
I'm not really sure. I'm not in a good place.
Can you stay with me?
Okay.
Where are you exactly?
Just remembering stuff when I was younger. And I didn't feel like I mattered, and I had needs, and because of that, I felt like I was vulnerable, and I was taken advantage of for many years by my stepfather because of that vulnerability, and because of that, I try not to be vulnerable in that way, like have need of touch or any of that, and it has definitely affected my life in a very negative way. And it's just difficult sitting here thinking about it and trying to comfort myself is not working.
I understand. Is this the first time that you're looking at this scenario?
No.
Okay. So you do know that none of that was your fault.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know, but I to protect myself, I've gone into this place where I'm having difficulty getting out. And it's just kind of disconnecting from people in the way I connect. I'm very able to articulate. But as far as allowing myself to feel, is hard.
Right. Because you are protecting yourself. You're still protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And right now, and your little girl is like very present.
Yeah.
You want to make sure. I'm sorry. You want to make sure that your little girl understands, like she understands that you're there for her, and that
door, the inside door, so that it won't slam, it will slow down.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's some mute situation happening.
Yeah, I know.
When were you able to do the visualization?
I was able to visualize myself. There was a situation when I was very young that I had wanted something very badly for Christmas, and my mother got it for me. And I was, I opened up the gift, I looked at it, I put it back, I wrapped it nice because we weren't supposed to open our gifts till Christmas Day. And I remember that my older brother stole that. So when I went back to the tree to open it up, it was gone. And, I never really asked for anything. So I was always the one that would give up stuff for other people to have because my mother, she was struggling and I saw it.
Yeah. Do you ask for things today?
No.
Yes, your little girl wants you to speak up. Your little girl wants you to ask for things. So if you were to ask for something right now, what would it be?
Probably stuff in my relationship with my husband. I would ask for more hugs, more kisses. It's just we're both in that issue. We both have the same issue in terms of affection and reaching out and stuff like that for different reasons. But I found myself in a relationship where the person is just as damaged as I am. So it's very difficult.
Right. So the two of you can grow together. He may or may not be ready for that, but at the same time, you have to feed yourself what it is you need.
Oh yeah, I've been working on that, and Wu has helped a lot. Helped me to really focus on that because what I did was cover it with academia and other things like that, so I wouldn't think about it. So I wouldn't feel it.
Have you been? Does your husband know how you feel and what you need?
Oh yeah, we've been to therapy, and he probably doesn't know the depth of it, but he knows of it. and I don't know, we're just not connected in that way. And I just find it very difficult to connect with him in that way. And I've been trying for 30 years. And I guess that's why this being my anniversary has really bothered me.
Yeah. You're revisiting it for a reason. And I would include him in that since he's a part of that. Bring him to you. Because right now, 30 years together with someone, it has you both be one. Like you created that intimacy in your relationship just based on time. And if there is an actual disconnect in the intimacy, in the physical or emotional intimacy, that's something that you want to repair for your own growth.
Yeah, I made the decision that I will either go back into therapy or I'll leave the marriage. Simple as that. 'Cause I can't do anything else.
Right. What is it that is holding you in that relationship?
Probably fear of being alone. I've been with somebody for so many years. I'm not exactly sure if I'm being held in this relationship by other things other than material things, honestly.
What was the initial attraction?
I liked the way he looked. I liked the conversation he had. He was a spiritual person from day one, and there were things that he would say to me that I used to resent. But as I've grown and I've started to really look at things, some of the things he said are some of the same things that was said here on Woo. So I looked at him for his wisdom, because he is 10 years older than me, and I always gravitated towards people who are older than me. So I was looking at that and I was attracted to that. And as I grew and I see that I've grown past some of the things, I've grown past them, I feel. And I want him to catch up to me or at least go into this work with me. And I'm finding that to be a difficult thing because he's not willing. He's not willing.
Right. When you met him, was he feeling a need that you had? Was he feeling a need that your little girl had?
Yeah, I saw the protection because he had children already, Purple and her older brother. And I saw the way he was with his children and the protection that he provided for his children, even though they may not have felt protected. I just saw that as a father that I never had, because my father was an abusive alcoholic and my mother married a pedophile. So I was looking for that father that I could feel safe with, that my son, because I already had a son, that my son could be safe around, but there was an emotional distance that I needed. My son didn't need it, and that showed up later on. But it was an emotional distance that I felt safe that he would not touch my children or my child. And so I kind of latched on to that.
Okay. So you are still, and you're dealing with his emotional distance.
Yeah, the emotional distance is something I no longer need. It doesn't serve.
Right. Yes. Yes. So you're in a different place, needing different things, and he can't provide that for you right now.
Right.
So you're at a crossroads.
Yes.
I get that. So your little girl still has needs, and her needs are different than your needs, and there's that disconnect inside of yourself.
Absolutely.
When you work on merging those needs, then you will be able to make a decision that is best for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, it was 8:40. Okay, so I do want to get into a close with sharing an image of the brain. I want you to see how this works. So let me screen share. And so here's the brain, and it's broken up into sections, and I'm not going to get into all of what you see, but basically there's what you see in red. The top left is executive brain. It's also called the frontal lobe or the forebrain. And then underneath that is the emotional brain. It's also called the temporal lobe, and then the reptilian or the mammalian brain, which is the survival. So this is when you are in your when you're in the adult responsible thinking mind, because you're there because you're not in survival. So your survival mind is there to keep you protected. It's the automatic breathing. I should say the survival mind is to keep you alive. So it's the automatic breathing, it's the automatic heart rate. These are things that you don't need to do because your body does. And when your body feels threatened, then your survival mind is going to create the circumstances in your body to allow you to survive. And if you are in the survival state, you're not in the executive state, you're not thinking. Okay, so you are just reacting. And what we want to do is to practice, first of all, looking at this little girl, little boy, see what it is they need, give them what they need so that we don't feel like we're threatened or that we're in a place that we need to be protected, so that we could be more thoughtful about our life right here and right in the present. So our survival is it is in the present when it feels like it needs to be protected, like we need to protect us, but it goes to the past. It takes us to the past because there are times when we might encounter an experience and get afraid, but there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just our mind is taking us there because our survival state is remembering that time that looked like this particular time. And so we're like, oh, this is going to happen again. So let me just protect. So I say all that, and I want to share with you, well, I want to ask you,
Further down, isn't it?
I want you all to tell me again, actually come off of mute. I was gonna have you type it in and have the chat and have John Carl read it, but I'm gonna change that and ask you all to share with me verbally the things that were the hurts and the pains that you've experienced. So like it could be the small hurts, it could be the big hurts, whatever it is. So I'm thinking physical abuse. So I'm going to put that in there. So your brain has these the disconnects. I'm going to make it in color on this brain image. So let me hear some of what you all would like to share with me, what you experience or what you know about other people experiencing.
Good day.
Sexual abuse.
Okay. Go ahead. Just let it flow.
Oh, no.
Isolation.
Abandonment.
Wow.
This is the things that hurt the brain, hurt the body, hurt the soul.
Lack of love.
Okay.
Favoritism. Favoritism.
Lack of empathy.
I feel psychological abuse.
Manipulation.
Low self-esteem.
Silencing.
Traumatic experiences.
Lack of trust.
Ridicule.
Isolation.
Anger.
Judgment.
Physical ailments.
Name calling.
Bullying.
Worry.
Wow.
Fear.
Okay. Right. So you're
Devaluing.
uh-huh.
Struggling to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of connection.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here because we could definitely go on and fill up this brain, and the filling up is showing the impact of what these past hurts have done to us, and you can see how it's blocking the parts of the brain that serves us. So I just randomly put the colors there, but the idea is present that when we are triggered by something today is because our brain is blocked, and our brain is blocked from things that happened in the past. So we don't want our brain looking like this, and we could fix it. So how do we fix it? We fix it with certain resilience modalities. Resilience, like
Since I came here. I don't know.
resilience, like we had Sahul speak this week. We had Sahul speak this week, and she showed us how to massage our feet. That's a form of resilience. So I want you to to share out verbally what are those forms of resilience that you know and have used or would like to use.
Meditation.
Exercise.
Yeah.
Walking.
Self-expression.
Prayer.
Meditation.
Creating.
Deep
Positive
breathing.
reinforcement.
Acceptance.
Forgiveness.
Mm.
Woo. Wake up, everybody.
I should
Amen.
remember gratitude.
Love.
Thankfulness, joy, peace,
Laughter.
Genuine love.
singing,
Dancing. Yes.
Swimming.
Sleeping.
traveling,
Breathing.
yes,
Reaching out.
Yes, you did it. We healed ourselves. Great job. Shall we celebrate?
yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo.
We have to remember those things.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so proud of you all. You have the power. You create your life. You can do this, and you are doing this. So don't let, like, whenever you feel triggered, remember the brain and just release, let it go. You can do it. All right. So let's see. I think that's it. I mean, we're at 8:49. Admin, is there something that I should be covering right now, or should we move into the closing slides?
I think you're good to go, Kinyofu.
All right. So I thank you for everyone working with me on this. You've been intimate with yourself, and you have the tools. So I have, that I have so this is, I want to offer that I have a coaching program. Is not a program. I can coach you. This is actually the second special offer. So I'm flipping it, John Carl. I'm going to speak about the coaching now. If you want to explore, so if you go to the next slide right now, that would be great. So I'm going to explore this. If you want to explore more of what you experienced today, if you want to unpack your inner child, then you can look at, I'm sorry, John Carl? John Carl?
Yes, Kinyofu. You want
Can
me
you
to take
go
it now?
Go to the next slide.
Oh, the next. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so here is my coaching package. It's Blocks to Breakthrough, and I'm offering you a 30-minute complimentary session. It'll allow you to look at the patterns that you have added into your life that don't serve you, and you'll be able to create new thoughts and work on the reversing whatever it is in your life so that you can get to the next step. Raise your vibration and step into your higher self. Your higher self wants you to be happy. Your higher self is nothing less than the best. And if you're feeling anything less than that, then there's some work to be done. Your inner child is there needing something. So I'm offering the 30-minute complimentary session, and you can email me, kinyofu@gmail.com. And John Carl, you can go to the previous slide. Go to the one before. Thank you. And so this is, so I switched it up, and I apologize for that, John Carl, but this is more related to this is directly related to my Parenting with Ease course. And I'm in a session right now with a few parents, and there is a parent that has wanted to join the course. There's a couple of parents that wanted to join the course. They don't have the funds. So I made it a point to find a way to get them in the course. And if you're inspired to give back, to share, then I will ask that you email me. And I have this kinyofu@choosetoevolve.com. It's the same thing as gmail.com. Either one is going to be the same, going to get to me. So just a little something of anything would be helpful. And I'm complete with that slide. Thank you, John Carl. So my contact information, this is my telephone number, 917-701-1083. You can find me on Facebook, Kinyofu and Teaching for Resilience. I'm on Instagram at Kinyofu. My email, kinyofu@gmail.com. And my website, choosetoevolve.com. And it is my pleasure to have offered this presentation to you, and any other offering that I have shared with you in terms of my knowledge and my experience and my passion for wanting people to be happy and healed and to keep others happy and healed. I have such a vision for families, and I'm generous in what I offer to you, and I'm asking if, given that money is my own natural energy yield, what we give comes back to us. And I'm asking if you could type in the spirit of SOW leadership development at Gmail into Zelle or Quick Pay, or $ spirit of a woman into the Cash App, or click that link that's going to be in the chat, using code 375KM to show your appreciation for what I shared with you today, for the healing that I gave you the opportunity to have. That would be wonderful. And I thank you. And on Sunday, we can revisit Wake Up Everybody to hear Dion C. Monsanto speak on her topic of Let's Reimagine Spring Cleaning, Physical, Mental, and Financial.
I'll take it from here, Kinyofu. Thank you so much for such a powerful session. I have to take some time after this session just to relax and take in this what this means, because I've been doing that inner work. And if you're new to the Woo Nation And if you're here to do the work, we choose to awaken, transform, and ascend, and we welcome you. Share in the chat if you're new. If you're here in the Zoom space with us, please put it in the chat. If you're in Facebook, you can put it in the chat there. And our loving community will reach out, support, and welcome you to Woo Nation. And we look forward to seeing you here again. We love to have your participation. Our schedule, so that you'll know when to show up, when to be here with us, with your family. We're here 5 days a week. You can catch us Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. on 9:30 90-minute sessions, which sometimes can expand just a little bit, as we did this morning. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, our 30-minute session from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. And we always stream in live on Facebook. You can also get alerts on when we're here and when we have any special sessions coming up. And you can do so by texting Woo Nation to 74121. Again, text Woo Nation to 74121. Our Woo swag. We love to see Woo swag in the streets. It's where we meet and greet. And you can know who you are by identifying through what you wear. You can get mugs, t-shirts, masks, and again, we're adding product. Our Woo Nation, the Woo Swag store, you can find at bit.ly/Woo Swag. And we invite you to just check it out and make some suggestions. I would love to hear from our community. What would you like to see in your Woo Nation store? This is a community store. So tell us what you want to wear. And we will work on getting that product together for you. We're looking for suggestions. Again, thank you. Stay in touch. You can do so by registering at bit.ly/Woo Movement, or you can find us on Facebook, bit.ly/Woo Community. Again, your suggestions, your comments, you can put them all there, and one of our admin members will reach out to you. If you're on Instagram, you can find us at Wake Up Everybody Virtual, and on Facebook, bit.ly/Woo, that's YouTube, bit.ly/Woo on YouTube. And again, our email, info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And as I talk about suggestions and support here, family, we are always looking for volunteers to the team. We want you to explore your special gifts. As you come together with the family and you're building those connections, you will find that you have much to offer, and you do matter. You do matter, and you have much to offer. And here is this family that supports that, and we encourage you to explore your gifts, and you may not even know what those things are. But when you come together with a group that supports that, surprisingly, it pops up. So we want you to reach out. If you're interested in volunteering to be on our team, you can do so by contacting us. And that email, again, is info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And we will get back with you. And we look forward to having you on the team and exploring those gifts. Okay, that's it, family. I would love at this moment to invite you to come off mute, come off camera as you did before, and share your love with our sister Kinyofu for such a beautiful and transformative session. Thank you, family.
Take down the slides so we can go to reality view.
Thank you so much, Kinyofu.
Thank you, Kinyofu. It was an excellent show.
Session, girl.
Thank you, beautiful. It's a powerful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
It was wonderful, thought-provoking. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sisters.
Thank you, Woo family, for your support. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your love.
Everyone, it was beautiful.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your